Woe to you, O Earth, for the day is finally among us. Happy Senjutsu Day.
Yes, baby.
This is our second attempt at recording this because
all went wrong. So Joe's reaction to like a school kid when he opened the box for the first time.
Yep. This just turned up. Let's start again, shall we? Hello, everyone. Welcome to Maidencast. If this is your first episode, this is the show where we are reviewing the entire Iron Maiden back catalogue, album by album. Every episode is a new album. I had to think about that then. Sorry. And along the way, we are doing every solo album, every side project, every nook and cranny. And we are up to date. So today is the Senjutsu Day. Last week we did Blaze Bayley's latest album, War Within Me. We did it just in time. Yep. So what we normally do is an in-depth review, track by track. But today we are doing just an initial reaction. My copy turned up in the post. I didn't take this out of the letterbox back more than half hour ago. So I did a little unboxing, which you're not going to see. But I did, like a kid opening a Christmas present, when I opened the book.
The reactions were gold, people.
Yeah, that is amazing. And I will be getting this tattooed on my back. So. But yeah, this is the Digi book edition or something like that. Yeah,
I've got the fan club exclusive box that my cat is currently sitting on, so I won't be unboxing that shit for a while.
Yes, so
but there'll be a video coming soon.
You've all seen mine, and the next video Luke will be showing us his. So yes, so today we're just doing a initial reaction, and having a brief chat about what we're thinking, first reaction, and then in a week or two we'll do a proper in-depth interview once we've digested it. Before I go forward though, let's just do a bit of housekeeping. We are doing the shout outs to our lovely regular viewers and anyone that comments. Colonel Billington, he is a regular commenter. He commented on the latest Blaze Bayley. But welcome aboard to Mad Max 42, Frankamentize, M. Jowis, IM 666. I say I pronounced that right. I'm not sure how I could pronounce that. Mr. David Kazminia Kazak Morfoot, Mr. G. Bradford, and Stephen Dill. Hello, everyone. Thank you for your comments.
People,
and
we
thank
love
you for watching.
Well done. Thanks for taking part.
And if you are a newcomer, like I say, if this is your first video, welcome aboard.
Yep.
So, I listened to the album. I've only listened to the album once. I was on a night shift last night, and at midnight, Iron Maiden put up all the songs track by track. So I went and I got the track list and found them all one by one and saved them to watch later in order. And then, not long after midnight, played the whole thing at work. Some disgraceful people, terrible people, started putting tracks up a few days ago, and I did have a listen, must admit. And yeah, a leak a day or two, I just thought, well, I'm not going to listen to it and go, right, I'm not ordering it now, because now I've got access.
That's it. Yeah, you've paid your money. You're supporting the band. I mean, fucking hell, I've bought the Ultimate, so I had a cheeky listen to a leak because I'm like a fucking kid in a sweet shop, and it's it is what it is. And then as soon as it became available last night on Apple, I started listening to it legit. So, you're all right listening to leaks as long as you're supporting the artist.
Well, yeah, I remember when the latest Carcass album came out a few years ago, when Carcass reformed, and Jeff Walker that had leaked, and Jeff Walker put out a statement. So you can, in Jeff Walker's typical, you could hear Jeff Walker saying it as you read it. He said, well, someone thinks they're Robin Hood. The leak has happened. He just said, look, it's out. There's no point in trying to backtrack it. It's out there now. So have a listen, enjoy it. All we ask is if you like it, buy it. It's, it's a equivalent of a couple of beers, and it makes all the difference to us.
Yeah.
And actually in the booklet, in the thank you, it says first and foremost you, because if you're reading this, it means you bought it.
Yeah, you paid your money.
So yeah, it will never change, I'm afraid. And like I say, as soon as Midnight went up, they were better off just putting it on YouTube themselves.
Yeah.
So
Lars was right.
He was.
That's a podcast for another time.
And from some comments on that, it looks like people have learnt nothing.
Yeah.
And yeah, it never seems to be musicians. That's the thing as well. It's musicians are just meant to be, you're
supposed to churn it all out for nothing,
Yeah. It's not all about the money, because that's what. If you was all about the money, you wouldn't be playing metal for a start. If you was all about money, you'd be into investing and things like that. The last thing you do to make any money is being a metal band. And you've complete the one person who foresaw a problem and had the money and the resources to challenge it, challenged it, and got completely.
He got obliterated, didn't he?
Yeah,
I mean,
and
it still carries on to this day. But the guy was right. The guy is Lars is one of the smartest fucking people in the world. Because that's why Metallica are as big as they are. Like them or loathe them or whatever, the decisions they made come from him more than they come from James, business-wise. And that's why they're fucking...
Certainly business-wise, yeah.
Playing arenas and fucking stadiums and still as heavy as fuck. They've bent the rules and they've probably pissed a few people off. They've had a few missteps, but even Bruce Dickinson said they had the foresight to step up. And fair play to them. We can discuss this till the cows come home.
Yeah.
And what we're all about today is a reaction to number 17.
So how are we going to do this? Because we don't really need to go track by track, do we? But
what was your? I mean, you've listened to it once. What's your? We always give a taster before we do a review. So what was your?
There's definitely The thing is, so many times now I've read, there's going to be some surprises. We're going to blow you away on this one. There's going to be things that people are going to taken back, and it's like, well, I didn't get any of them. What was you? I don't know what I was meant to be expecting from that fucking saxophone solo or something. No, everything was in place. It was Maiden being Maiden. With that being said, though, there was some great moments on there, and there was some, but the way they were saying it was like, was Lady Gaga going to pop up? I don't know, but no, it was just as challenging and just as surprising as any other Maiden release. There was probably more a taken aback moment in the Book of Souls because you had the piano on the last track. There's definitely some standout tracks. Just trying to think of. Obviously, the album opener is a good place to start. It's definitely a not strange. That's not the word I'm looking for. It's definitely a unique album opener for Iron Maiden. I mean, I could, but it's not out of Maiden's habit, because an Iron Maiden show tends to be bing, bang, puff, band are there, and they hit the ground running. This one would be a very odd opening to a concert. It can be done. Tool, for example, would it happily open with a song like this? But it'd be strange for.
They'd do it just to fuck with you, wouldn't they? But I think Maiden are at that point now where they would do it just to fuck with us.
Yeah.
And I mean,
well, I say it'd be like opening with Sign of the Cross.
Yeah.
On that tour, they open with Man on the Edge. You see, that's all I'm saying. Yeah. But what a beautiful track! The opening with those drums. If you watch that video with Adrian, he's consciously used them. And there's a little picture here of some mountaintops, and it is that you get the feeling that you're flying when that chorus kicks in, and those awesome guitar licks, and it's very cinematic, isn't it?
Yeah, big time. I mean, it's like I say, it's quite a proper mid-pace cruncher. I mean, and you don't often use that term when you describe.
There's no real point. that I remember anyway, where it was like, right, now we're kicking in. Now we're in fifth gear. It never does that, does it? It just builds up and builds up and builds up. You know, you think at one point it's going to kick in and you're going to get like a gallopy rip or something like that.
Deliberately, it's weird. Weird because Senjutsu and Stratego, they work as a 1-2 punch, and I've noticed that now, getting them in context, because the keyboards that everyone that really put people off in Stratego, it's the same keyboard tone in Senjutsu, and it's almost like they're meant to be.
I think
they're meant to be a brother and two brothers. They're meant to go two.
Yeah, but I did hear those keyboards in another song as well.
That sort of start. Yeah, it's keyboards all the way through. There's no strings for my ears anyway. They could be played with strings
but it's that same tone.
If and when we get the fabled orchestral show that we at Maidencast champion on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
But no, I think these two are designed literally to go played one after the other, which makes me think they will open with Senjutsu, and then without missing a fucking beat,
they probably will.
Straight into Stratego, boom.
Yeah, I'm saying it can be done. It's just not something Maiden normally do.
Yeah, no. But the way it fell on my ears, and especially more as I've listened to it more, these are designed to be 1-2 punch. This is can't listen to one without the other. Stratego sounds weird now without having the majesty of Senjutsu building up to it.
Yeah.
It's like release. You've had this fucking the tribal drumming and the fucking heavy guitars and all the rest of it, and then all of a sudden after the soaring chorus, which is fucking on another level, and then after you've had all that fucking raw, heavy mid-pace shit, boom, in we go. Let's go. We're on.
Yeah,
they wound you up, and now they're fucking letting you go. And
yeah, exactly. The whole 8 minutes is just tension building.
It is. Big time. It's fucking proper. You're like, fucking hell. It's almost like you can imagine yourself being, like we've said before, Maiden tell stories with their music. You can be in like Passchendaele. You imagine you're in the trench, it's dirty, you're living it, and this makes you feel like you're a fucking battlefield waiting for the invaders to come, like the arrows to come flying over. It puts you in that place.
Yeah.
And it fucking just Steve Harris, mate. Adrian Smith's riffs for this, but Steve Harris. This is Steve Harris stamped all over this album. I couldn't, when I first listened to it, I did the whole thing, track 1 to 10, headphones on in the dark, and saying to Joe earlier, like, normally I'll get Maiden albums straight away. People always say, there's a grower, it takes a few listens. No, every Maiden album before this I've got straight away, and I was like, fucking hell, yes. But this, I literally took the headphones off, and I was just like, sat on the edge of my sofa in the dark, with my fucking mouth open, because my brain couldn't process. There was so much going on, so many different layers and fucking melodies and vocal layers and guitars on overlays and overdubs, and my brain was like, fucking hell, what have you just put me through? Hooks were sunk in, because when I woke up the next morning, there was melodies in my head, melodies from Hell on Earth, Death of the Celts. They were there, and then as the more of the day went on, because I listened to it in the car and on the way home from work, they sunk in. And then after about the third listen, it was like a ton of bricks. It was like fucking bang. I started welling up at certain bits. They proper intro, Death of the Celts, fucking caught me first. It was like
that had quite a Klansman feel to it. That song, if I remember correctly.
The Klansman's twisted bastard cousin, mate. I tell you.
Yeah.
This is a proper fucking. This is a beast of a tune, and I don't know how they're going to add good luck picking a set list for the Senjutsu tour, because.
Funnily enough, yeah. I mean,
you're going to leave in some stuff out.
Excuse me.
Or they're playing tonight, one or two.
Yeah, I did. I got to the end of the Time Machine, or I think it was around Days of Future Past, where I did think they could well play this in full.
Well, Bruce has
flowing quite well.
Doing it in smaller venues, because it's. I mean, I'd go and see that every fucking date they did.
Just a quick note for our regular viewers: the penny has dropped for me as far as Stratego goes. Again, when I was listening to those tracks the other night, I listened to I re-listened to Writing on the Wall and Stratego again, and the next day I woke up with Stratego stuck in my head, and then it was right. It's clicked now, and and listening to it in the context of the album, like I said, would probably happen.
Yeah.
I get this. I get it now, and it's an awesome song. Writing on the Wall, we've spoke about that. Lost in a Lost World, I can't quite remember how that went. I remember
it starts off like Moody Blues almost. It's like acoustic with load of vocal melody, like vocal effects and all that. It's
with a couple of woo and all that.
It's fucking. It was like whoa, you know. That's probably one of the things Bruce was talking about. How it's going to blow your mind, and to be not a mind blower, but it's definitely like, hang on, what's going on here, sort of thing. Brought a smile to my face. Rest of the song is I'm not doing it an insult by saying it's a typical Harris epic. You got your structure, and you know what's coming almost, but you don't because you can hear certain riffs from other songs. I mean, you can listen to that, and it brings When the Wild Wind Blows to mind. You know, there's obviously they're rejigging riffs here and there, but when you're on album 17. Yeah, there's only so many frets on a fucking guitar fretboard, isn't there? You know. Yeah. But it's a very, very well. You know, it's a crazy structured song. But Nico's drumming is fantastic in that, especially.
I think again, just with the one listen, and my editions literally just turned up half hour before we started recording. I think Senjutsu's a standout to me. Days of Future Past, I quite liked.
Oh, mate, the chorus in that song, fucking hell, it's fucking huge. Huge.
Yeah. I think I caught myself nodding along to Parchment, but I was very, very taken aback by, you know, when you just think, oh, fucking hell, we have arrived with Hell on Earth. That was awesome.
Yeah, I mean...
And I do think that was a nice bookend because you've got something a bit different to stroke your chin and go, to begin with. And then a classic from Hell on Earth. I mean, there's always that check this out.
Yeah, I mean that song is fuck's sake. I mean, that's the other one that made me well up. The intro of that, fucking hell. I mean, it's just ridiculous. And if that's the last ever Maiden song that is committed to a fucking CD, whatever, I mean, you go out happy.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is a fucking tune and a half, mate. I mean, it's been brilliant reading all the forums, going on Reddit and the Maiden forum and all that, and seeing people's reactions. And Hell on Earth is hands down the people's choice at the minute.
Yeah,
that's getting the presidency, you know, by a landslide. And it's easy to see why, because just when you think, like I say, Lost in a Lost World, we've heard those Harris riffs in another form before. You know, they're not repeating themselves, but it brings back memories of past Maiden songs. But Hell on Earth to me was just totally unique. It's like he's had these in a special little box and he's gone, save them for a special day. And he's busted them all out in 1 11-minute fucking 20 seconds, wherever it is. And my fucking word, it's a masterpiece, mate. It is an absolute masterpiece. Bruce's vocals on it, the fucking lyrics, the solos across the album just obliterate your eardrums. I mean, all three of them, the three amigos, mate, they playing out their fucking skin. Nico smashed it. Bruce weren't lying.
It does seem on a subconscious level, at least, he may not even know it himself, but Nico seems to have it in his thing that time is limited.
So he's laying down a gauntlet, mate. You know, oh, fuck's sake. I mean, somebody's playing. Yeah, people crap and go, oh, yeah, he's average. Good feet, crap hands. It's like,
you're average.
Fuck off.
Yeah.
This is one of the fucking greatest men to ever pick up 2 bits of wood and hit other bits of fucking wood with cowskin pulled across them. You know, he's a legend, and he smashes it out of the park on this, big time. And
I think people think as well, again, in the age of YouTube, where everything's, you know, when death metal came along, as impressive as it is to see someone like George Collius or, you know, another band that's coming out on Metal Blade, and bands like Archsphere and people like that. I mean, I get what they're doing, and it's cool, but it's not really for me. But the musicianship on display is just
out of
this world. So when
the drummers in bands like that are savages, mate.
It's easy to write someone like Nico off.
Yeah.
But I'd like to see that person.
It's
actually sitting to the thing, go, right, Trooper, how? Because I think another big trick is sometimes you make things easier than they look.
Yeah.
And, again, some of these people are all over the place. Yeah, but play an AC/DC song.
Yeah.
Just keep a beat.
That's it.
Do something with a bit of groove. Do something with like the Vinnie Paul did.
Yeah.
Fuck it. Reduce it right down and do a Beatles song.
Yeah, you've hit nail on the head there.
People piss on Ringo Starr all the time. It's like, no, that guy could drum. Yeah. Arguably, the Beatles only became good when Ringo joined them, because if you've not got that right person backing up your riffs, it's not. And even the greatest drummers all praise Ringo. Nico, funny enough, was praising him in an interview the other day. That's probably what made you think of him.
Yeah, when he was talking about Charlie Watts, wasn't he?
Yeah. Same with Charlie. Thank you. Same as Charlie Watts. Actually try it and drum along to some of those Stones songs. They're more complex than what you...
Yeah, we never actually said it, but rest in power, Charlie. You fucking laid a path for others to follow.
Yeah, since I was a bit saddened, really, when they announced that they were going to be doing this new tour without him.
But he'd already, a bit like ZZ Top.
It was with his blessing. He'd said no, like
placement, hadn't he? So
the guy that's doing it is a friend, and if you look at, I forget the guy's name, but if you look at who he is, the guy's fucking mustard. But that's not the point, is it? It's this was the first tour they were going to do since 1963 without him.
Yeah,
and. It's not that that guy can't do a good job. Don't doubt that for a second.
Because he's handpicked the guy. He said, no, that's your man.
Yeah.
I've got my blessing. That's probably why they're... I mean, I don't know, it's a cliche. But
like they say, they have to honour these dates because they were booked.
Yeah. But I mean, if I was in a band, that ever got that big, and I couldn't do it, or I fucking died, or whatever, the last thing I'd want is my boys to fold it up. Because when you're a group, you're a fucking group. And the same with Maiden, I bet if you got to the point where Nico was like, lads, I fucking can't do it, he would probably pick someone, and they would still, I don't know whether Steve might call it a day because of the age of them, but they might still go out as long as they have the blessing of the person who was in.
Yeah.
If he died in a car crash tomorrow and didn't pick anyone, or they might call it like with Motorhead. If Lemmy had handpicked a bass player and a singer to do it, Phil and Mickey might have carried on.
Well, funnily enough, I've got an interview with Lemmy, and he says, I've said you can carry on if you want. Good luck with a guy who fills that in. But, I mean, he was speaking hypothetically, but...
Yeah. No, I think that's why, hopefully we're not going to have to deal with this with Maiden ever. Because they've all sold their souls to the devil. Obviously, as how they can still be so fucking good at this age is ridiculous. I mean,
I think when we talk about how a band ends, I mean, I don't think you could have done it any better than Rush. That is the way to do it. Yeah. They did it all on their terms. They're all honest with themselves and went, right, it's all downhill from here. We can do this one more time.
At the peak, yeah. And
they didn't announce it. They didn't go... But the writing was on the wall, excuse the pun. In hindsight, it was all there because it was the way they chose the set list. It was the way, And then they just stopped.
So, yeah.
It was a couple of years later, they went, no, we're done. And, he was like, oh, I've not been to an airport in 9 months. And that's the longest I've ever not been in an airport since I was 19 or something like that.
Yeah.
And then obviously with what happened with Neil.
Yeah.
It was as if, it was as if he knew.
Yeah.
It's, I just can't see how that was a coincidence. It was just like, how did you called it like that? And then that happened. I just can't. Yeah. He must have had some... I don't know. Yeah. But in terms of bailing out at the right time on your terms, you can't beat. I think Rush should have balanced it properly.
And I think
they're the ones to follow.
Yeah,
bands like Maiden or people have been going for a long time need to look at Rush and go, right, if we're going to do this, they're the people we need to follow.
To be fair, I think Maiden will, because they've always said, you know, we'll call it quits when it's not fun anymore, when we're a parody of ourselves. And on the strength of this release, I mean, you know, you can have all your Gumby guys going, oh well, it peaked at Peace of Mind. It fucking didn't. You know, if you're releasing albums that a lot of people on forums and that are talking about, this is a top 3 album ever.
Yeah.
When you're releasing something like that, you've had it in the can for fucking 2 years. They've probably got riffs and other stuff recorded ready for the next album. But when you're releasing something like this, 17 albums in, keep going, boys.
Well, this is it.
Even if they said they're not going to tour anymore, if they're still going to put out albums like this, fucking shut up and take my money.
Yeah, I mean,
this is a monster.
I think touring, as I'll keep saying.
Yeah, you've said it before, haven't you? Yeah.
I can't see how touring can. Again, there's so many small things that can just bring a house of cards down. It can just pop like a balloon. With all the precautions in the world, and I'm sorry, Gene Simmons, it wasn't your fucking fans' fault. Corey Taylor can anyway as well. Did you hear Corey Taylor? Some selfish fan came to the show and infected me. Oh, it wasn't in the supermarket, was it, Corey? Or the petrol fucking station?
Yeah, it could have been anywhere, couldn't it? To say that is bollocks, really.
But again, the whole tour, a big tour, is
one
test. And not only that, not only is the goalpost constantly moving, it's changing from country to country.
Yeah.
Alan Averill, who's been one of the only people that have been talking about this realistically, he did a recent. He's Primordial started gigging again, and he's been taking it sort of step by step. He's been very skeptical of the whole thing, and he just says, you know, I've gone to one country, put a face mask on, and people are laughing at me. And 40 miles in that direction, I've had a policeman put a mask on now.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, hold on a minute. 40 miles ago, I was having a piss taken out for wearing one. You know, it went, so every country's different.
Yeah, touring is
you're
like
one test away from the whole thing going, right, we're going home.
Yeah.
Because and not only that, when you're on Maiden's level, you can't afford to cancel a show because...
Nah.
And then that knocks effects on the whole thing is a schedule.
And as we know, bands like Maiden employ people a fucking show, don't they? They're a business. They're an employee.
People need to turn around and go, fuck you, this isn't going to work.
Yeah.
And you need to take your industry back, because it was the government that said your industry is inessential. It wasn't unvaccinated people. It wasn't fucking people not following the rules. They've put this on, and all the bands are acquiescing to it. And it's fucking pathetic, it really is. You're telling your audience to do exactly what they're told in order to listen to songs about sticking it to the man. It's fucking ridiculous. So yeah, that's my rant.
Yeah, so it's like you say, touring is it's an ever evolving beast, isn't it? In a minute,
I think you're probably going to get more. What I'm saying off the back of that is you probably will get more albums. People might just go, do you know what? There may be another shift where people start listening to music again.
Yeah.
Not actually,
as albums, not as just the fucking dipping into Spotify.
Yeah, maybe, you know, it could be rather than just listening to it on the fly, so you know the songs enough to recognise them when they're played live. Just like people are buying more and more equipment now. I don't know what's the matter with my throat today. I've probably finally got corona, but people are making people are getting home cinemas installed, and it's not even that expensive anymore. Not as much as it used to be.
Yeah, it's come right down.
And I think maybe people, you know, vinyl's coming back in a big way. People are, you know, buying stereos again. Maybe people will start making a bit more effort when it comes to listening to music.
Yeah.
So therefore, it'll be a bit more of an incentive to release more music rather than one album every 5 years and whatnot.
Yeah, no.
And if touring is becoming if it's just going to become a pain in the arse, then who knows what will happen?
Yeah.
You know, when Johnny Cash retired from touring, he was putting out albums like they were still releasing them after he died. He just went to the studio every day and just went, let's try this.
Yeah.
Now we've had an inkling that there is another album in the can, haven't we? Because
when Bruce when he did the unboxing for Nights of the Dead in October, he said, we've been putting bits down in the studio recently. And of course everyone was just thinking, that's for the album that we all know is coming. But now we're being told that album was recorded in 2019 before the world went shit. So what the fuck have they been?
Exactly. They've been spotted in
fucking studios.
Yeah.
There's a fucking, because he said we record in downtime so we can maximise touring. We can fucking tour forever knowing that an album's done. And then we can just release it on this date. So yeah, they can fucking be recording in their different. I mean, they're all over the fucking world, aren't they? I mean, Bruce and Adrian are over here. Steve's in the fucking Bahamas, and Adrian and Davey's in Hawaii, and Nico's in Florida. They can all be recording shit in their own studios. Kevin Shirley can be fucking clobbering it all together in the fucking using the fucking.
That's how the majority of albums are done now. I mean, you still, that is one thing. And there's some good projects at the moment. I mean, I speak quite often to David Ingram, the Benediction frontman. This was before he rejoined Benediction. Benediction had their sort of Brave New World moment on their last album, but he was releasing he was doing a couple of different projects, and I think it was Echelon. It's like the drummer in the band I've never even met.
Fuck
Yeah.
It's music in the 21st century, though, isn't it? Like recording this.
They're good albums. It's worked. Don't get me wrong, but I still can't think. You just cannot beat the magic.
Being in a room like Maiden do it now. All fucking 6 guys right in there. Here we go. There's a song. Play it.
Yeah.
And the tape's going. Whether they're fucking recording, whether they're only doing overdubs or what, because there is that magic of that live thing.
Yeah. So
that's the Black Album. That's why Bob Rock said, no, you ain't fucking doing it each individual in a booth. You're all in this room. I might only be recording the Lars, but you're all fucking playing a song as though you're playing a song live, and it rubs off. You get the fire.
Yeah.
You see the other people rocking out, and you get a fucking magic is captured, lightning in the bottle.
So it must stand to reason, because everyone, there's still Jimi Hendrix music being released today.
Yeah.
And so there must be stuff in the can. There must be, they say like Prince had an archive, didn't he? Had like a cage full of, he's got this room full of full production videos and things like that.
Even if Maiden don't have anything in the can prior,
there is still something in the can.
Well,
that's what I'm saying.
The way the world's gone, Steve might have gone, fucking hell, how are we supposed to carry on? I know, let's start recording shit, and before we know, 2 years' time, fucking album number 18's out. Done.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
They must have been up to something. Like I say, they've been spotted in Monaco, because the original thing was, a Maiden recording, and all the signs were there.
In Paris, yeah.
But now we found out, actually, this album's 2 years old, so they must have been doing something. I mean, authors do this, but people who write books, Stephen King said the oldest trick in a book is you're expected basically to do it one a year. So you give your book, that comes out in hardback, and then the next year, the other one comes out in hardback while the previous one comes out in paperback. They go, It went, so all that time, and he writes every day. He says, I wake up and I write for 4 hours, even if it's even if the next day I delete it all, I still write.
Down,
yeah. And a lot of writers say, no, the best thing to do is don't ever sit there going, oh, fuck, what do I write? Just write anything.
Right, yeah, that's it.
And so he goes, I'm not going to write a book a year. I'll write anyway. He went, so what you normally do is when the publisher goes, right, we need a book, I need something quick, you just go into the drawer and go, here you go.
Yeah.
Done one. He says, many an author will have about 2 or 3 on the shelf, just in case.
So it stands to reason, especially like say now, bands are going to have to start. Shit, we better we better get these plugged away, ready for release. Especially if you are like Maiden, you're an album band. You ain't going to do what Rob Flynn's been doing, because Rob Flynn with Machine Head, they've been dropping singles on Spotify, because he's like, the way I see it, we've got to keep, instead of doing albums, I'm going to keep dropping EPs or singles every couple of months.
Well, again, look at Matthew, is it Heafy? I forget the guy's from Trivium, yeah. He's made more money in the last year on, is it D Live or one of the, basically gaming and but doing guitar playthroughs.
Yeah.
Like online guitar. He's made more money on his channel in the last year than the last Trivium tour.
Fucking hell.
Now, you on the ground level, who's on an unsigned band, that would be a bit different because Matthew's already got an audience.
Yeah.
But it goes to show things are changing, and something's going to emerge from it. You know, I dare say. I mean, these musicians that do the, especially there's ones where it's like split in 4 screen, and you got the guy playing all 4.
Playing all of them, yeah.
Doing a cover. That guy probably makes more money than the average touring musician.
That's it, yeah. We are looking at the next adaptation of music, aren't we? You know, perhaps we'll never know. But as long as Maiden keep churning out albums like this, mate.
I say I would, I would rather more music more often than the 3-year tours.
Yeah, don't get us wrong. We like going and see Maiden as much as the next guys.
Yeah.
If I've got a choice between potentially getting...
But the Legacy of the Beast, and what was the one before it? The one where they did the retrospective one. That one went on and on and on, didn't it?
You had Book of Souls, didn't you, before Legacy of the Beast? But then the one before that, it did go. I mean, but if I've got the option of hearing Trooper for the millionth time, or potentially getting another song like Hell on Earth,
exactly, yeah,
I'm picking the latter, mate, because I'm going to die on this hill. But for me, Maiden of today is 10 times as good as a Maiden of the 80s. If you said to me I could pick classic era or reunion to listen to, I can't listen to both. I listen to one or the other forever. It's reunion all the way.
Would you include X Factor in that?
Yeah, because that's the start.
So I'm just trying to
the cut off.
The cut off. Yeah, so 2000.
Because as we've discussed, the Maiden of today doesn't exist without the X Factor. Put that in your pipe, Blaze haters. We went there. It's the truth. But if it's a choice between listening to pre-Blaze or post-Blaze, pre-Blaze gets put in the bin. And I say that with all respect to those songs, because they're some of the greatest songs ever written. But now...
Yeah, that's not what you're saying. Yeah.
We're getting taken on journeys. We're being emotional journeys. I mean, Hell on Earth takes you through so many fucking hell, you know?
Yeah, I'd say definitely the pre-2000s it's another golden period, and it's not, and it's the golden periods for different reasons, because that golden period in the 80s was the band's, it was building, it was evolving and becoming what Maiden. But 2000, it was like, right now with Maiden, they were becoming.
Yeah. Bruce has been away and scratched the itch, felt a bit of freedom. Steve went through it with his divorce and all the rest of it, and started this prototype. And like you say, it's all those winding roads. They've all fucking just intersected. Brave New World. And it's opened up. And we're still on that journey, because that ain't finished yet. And fuck's sake, I mean, and that's the thing. Each Maiden album now is a journey.
Yeah, and
might be a few missteps like Monsegur and stuff like that, but fuck's sake, I mean, this album, the more you listen to it, I've read a lot of people who are going like, oh, I don't get it, I don't like it. First listen, I don't like it. Stick with it, because like I say, I'm on about the 3rd or 4th now.
Yeah, I wouldn't have said it was a grower as such, as in I wasn't sure. It was just 80 minutes worth of music. Just went
out. Yeah, you can't break it down.
I was like, right, I'm gonna have to start this again. But let's just say my first impressions, Senjutsu and Hell on Earth are definitely two main
and
moments.
a good job. I'm glad you highlighted them because Steve has actually chosen them two as brother tracks. Because if you read the lyrics to Senjutsu, there's a certain section in Senjutsu that is slightly altered in Hell on Earth. It's like they bookend, talking about something being.
Okay.
Yeah,
You've definitely dived deeper than I have.
There's a verse, or like a pre-verse or something that's in Senjutsu. Like I know it's talking about being betrayed by lust, and then when you get to Hell on Earth, it's almost exactly the same, but tweaked. About I can't remember the exact words about being that did they bleed for us or something. But it's in both tracks, and it's natural 1 and 10. It's the open and close of the album, but it's deliberate.
Sorry, I'm just looking for the things here.
It's pretty fucking cool the way he's done it.
Yeah. So, I think on one listen alone, I'm not quite as sure if this is as good as Book of Souls, but then again, this is an album that's been out for 9 hours. No, 12.
15 hours.
15 hours, sorry. Comparing it to an album that's been out for about 6 or 7 years. But like I say, it was an effortless listen, to be honest. Again, at the beginning, you think, oh.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, there's nothing that makes you like, oh.
Yeah, and when I got to the end, I was like, oh, well, this is flown by, this album. So it's sort of interesting the whole way through. But yeah, I'm looking forward to listening to this in the next couple of weeks and I'm looking forward to the proper review. Yeah.
It's going to be a long one, boys and girls.
And yeah, even if it wasn't that good, I'd still be glad to have it because this is like the best band in the world. This is why we're doing a podcast on it.
That's right.
So
no, basically it's a grower, and I've never had that. Like I said before, I've never had that with a Maiden album before. I've always got them instantly and loved them, but this one, it was like, oh fucking hell, what's going on here? But then the more I listen to it, the more I'm finding new stuff, and the Parchment has sort of passed me by. Yet so many people are saying that is the best song they've ever heard, but I still haven't found a home for it yet.
I can't quite remember how it goes.
People are saying it starts all Middle Eastern. People are saying it's like Power Slave Part 2. It's like, no, if anything, it's the Nomad Part 2. But it's weird. I couldn't, again, my brain, there was so much going on. My brain's like, look, fuck off. I've got enough to deal with without another 12 minutes. And I'm looking forward to unpacking that one because, like I say, and the reactions online are brilliant. You've got people going, Darkest Hour is the best song on the album. Then you've got someone going, no, it's the worst song on the album. Parchment's best on the album. And people are going, well, no, that's the worst song on the album. It's so fucking brilliant seeing these reactions. All for this band that we fucking love. And it proves they're still a force to be reckoned with. When pretty much every newspaper or print article review has given them 4 out of 5, 9 out of 10. Masterpiece. Majestic. Brilliant. All the rest of it. I've never seen such across the board great reviews.
More, like a mainstream newspaper that just reviews like a contemporary what's going on at the time are sort of going, oh, this heavy metal lark, we all wrote this off, but here they still are,
40 odd years later,
17 albums in. Oh, this is actually, and they have to sort of begrudgingly go, the music quality is actually quite good here.
Yeah, that's it. I love that especially when Maiden play them the first 4 minutes of Lost in a Lost World and go, there you go.
Telegraph or someone's reviewing it.
Well, the Independent, I think it was the Independent review that gave it 4 out of 5.
I did read. I was reading the Spectator actually, and this is a while ago, and they were reviewing the. They kind of say like we're a bunch of fuddy-duddy, reviewing pop, but they review whatever's coming out at the time. And he was actually reviewing the latest Taylor Swift album. And this review, I didn't, but it made me go, bloody hell, I might actually check this album out. He went, the only thing that's worse is when an artist or band you love puts out a crap album. It's when someone you can't stand puts out an album that's good.
Yeah, like fuck.
Yeah, I was really looking forward to like slagging this off and having a good old rant about how crap Taylor Swift is. He went, but oh god, he went. It was to my annoyance. I started to like it. And
yeah. And why do you think I don't listen to bands I don't like? Because just in case that happens, and I'm forced to fucking eat humble pie.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought that was the only thing that's worse when someone you like puts out something, someone you hate puts out something good.
No, it's cool. But no, I'm looking forward to carrying on this and really getting to grips with some of these.
Yeah.
And,
well, I'm going to put this on my stereo behind there now.
Yeah.
So if you don't have anything else to say.
No, I mean, I can't, just stick with it, guys. If you weren't so sure after the first listen, don't dismiss it, for fuck's sake, because there's some absolute majestic bits of music in it. And it's a banger, mate. It is a fucking banger.
Yeah, definitely. So this is our initial reaction. We've got Luke's going to make a separate video of looking at the fan club exclusive box set.
Hoping I've got number 666.
Hoping.
Yeah.
When he opens it up, it's going to be like Pulp Fiction with the light.
That's it. Yeah. That's it.
And yeah. So as always, folks, thanks for watching. Leave us some comments and let us know what you think.
Yes,
What's your favourite song? What's your first impression? Where do you think it stacks up in your order of favourite albums? And yes, we will be doing a show in the next couple of weeks, doing a proper in-depth track-by-track review. Next up, we're going to be doing we obviously got no albums left to review now, so we're going to be going over the bits and bobs along the way. So I'm not sure what order we're going to do it in. We'll probably decide afterwards.
Yeah, we'll surprise you. Just drop and see what it is.
We'll be doing a show where we're going to go through all the B-sides. We're going to go do a show where we're going to go through all the live albums. We're going to have a couple of debates. We're going to do each going to give our top 5 Maiden albums. That's one. I think that one will put the cat amongst the pigeons, and especially in the comments section.
I want to do the Ultimate Maiden album as well, going from track 1 to 12, and you're picking from each album to compile the Ultimate Iron Maiden album.
Yeah, but how am I going to put all of Killers on it?
Well, you don't. You just put that under the cup of coffee. You know.
There we go. All right. So yeah.
That's it. Yeah, I've done him. I've done him like a kiffer. It's fucking brilliant. How can you rate Virtual 11 the same as Killers? That's the comment that's going to stick with me as long as I live.
Yeah. I still scratch my head on that one today. So if you are new to the show, you can go back to the opening episodes and you'll see what we're talking about.
Bollocks, yeah.
And so we'll be back next week with
something Maiden related.
Yeah. So stick with us, folks, and then in a few weeks we will be doing the in-depth review with a special guest with a bit of luck.
Yeah.
Keep that under your hat for now, though.
Yeah.
Apart from that, get your album on whatever medium you want to get it on, to get it CD, a vinyl, a box set, or stick it on your Spotify's or your I don't know what your kids.
Whatever it is, just fucking listen to it because it's lovely.
You can listen to it even today on Planet Rock. They're playing the whole album.
Planet Day, aren't they? Maiden Day.
Scattered throughout the day with an introduction from each member.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's a bit gutting. I mean, I've not got time to listen to that all day, and you don't know what time.
No, that's it. Yeah,
hopefully on YouTube or something like that, someone will compile them all together. But yeah, anyway, have a great weekend, folks, and we'll see you all soon. Take care.